Yo, guys, welcome to the Blue Podcast. This is the Gradient Show today with me, Tom, Ben, and Fab. How are you boys doing today?
Good, thanks.
Doing well, thank you.
Obviously, we've gotten up early to watch Moon Knight episode 3, so spoilers ahead for that. But before we get into that, we are an ambassador for a new app called LinkMe. It's an app that makes juggling social media accounts easier than ever. Make sure to download the app and make an account with our link down below, as well as our link for our merch. That would be greatly appreciated. Definitely a different style of an episode with episode 3. Just go straight into it. Again, spoilers. You've been warned twice now, so either go watch it and come back, or you're gonna get spoiled. They take it all from Mark's perspective, which I think we thought would happen in episode 2, but obviously happened in episode 3 instead. Do you like the fact that they've kind of gone from Mark's perspective, and obviously when he blacks out, it's Steven in control, and we don't see what Steven's doing, but we obviously see the action of Mark this time.
Yeah, I mean, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can say from the point of view of someone that wasn't too well, as I said, I'm not too Marvel orientated, but I would say I noticed with this episode pretty quickly, it was actually a bit confusing what was going on to someone who's not like up to date on exactly what the Moon Knight is. Maybe I was just being a bit stupid, but
A bit early in the morning, maybe.
it took me like a couple of like figuring out what was going on until I was like, this is Mark, this is Steven. Because they're the same person, aren't they? They just kind of act and sound different.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say that I did enjoy it. I just maybe they could have made it a little bit clearer. I don't know if that's me being maybe.
It was. I guess. I mean, that's sort of the nature of the show, but it was probably this week a little bit more. Probably was a lot more convoluted than the previous 2 episodes, but it was still, easy enough to follow. But it was a little bit more sort of here, there, and everywhere. But
well, yeah, they seemed to increase the pace of the episode, didn't they? They definitely made it a much faster paced episode, because obviously with the other 2, there seemed to be quite a trend of it's a bit slow at the start, something kind of happens in the middle, you don't really know, and then big finale. Whereas this one, it kind of generally there was something happening the whole time in it. Be it even like straight away the fight scene, obviously there was the 3 guys that eventually ended up dying, which I wanted to touch on because I'm pretty sure there's a third personality that they've just hinted at, because obviously 2 of the guys get stabbed or killed by this other personality. Steven says it wasn't him. Mark says it wasn't him. So obviously that is very much hinting that there is a third personality in there that we don't know yet, which maybe also Mark and Steven don't know about either, because obviously Mark asks Steven, well, who the hell was it that killed these 2 guys? I can't remember the name now of the third person. That's my bad. I should know that, but I don't. Normally, though, the third person is more of a cabbie. So interesting that he's almost more dangerous than Mark is, in the terms of he actually just went straight for the kill, whereas Mark was clearly trying not to kill those 3 guys. Is there a possibility for even more personalities, do you think, inside Mark and Steven?
Yeah, I mean, they probably won't want to do too many, because then it would get confusing a bit ridiculous and convoluted as well. But yeah, I mean, 3, maybe 4, but like I don't think they would go over that, because then it would just get like people would be like, well, who's this one then? Like, and obviously like they'll probably you'd probably be able to catch up pretty quick to who it would be, but you wouldn't get any like development of those personalities. Then it would just be kind of like, this is that one, this is the other one. Like, you wouldn't get any time with them, so you wouldn't like no development or sort of any. You won't be able to sort of get to know them at all. So I can't see him doing too many. But yeah,
What do you think, Fab?
Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting twist, but I'd say that they maybe could have like made it a little bit less obvious. Like they made it quite obvious there was a third person just by saying like, there's people there. I didn't do it. You didn't do it. And then kind of just left it at that. I think most people watching they could have kind of like played onto it a little bit better, and when it's all Mark or Steven's perspective, not have them talk exactly about it. Maybe just talk to themselves and have this like blame game with each other, and lead it up to a certain scene where they actually finally figure it out. But maybe they're still planning on doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they are still planning for to reveal that there is a third personality. I think maybe I do agree they could have maybe been more subtle with it in terms of they could have done that little thing and then maybe another little thing next episode, and then the next episode after that they eventually reveal that there's a third personality who also does his own thing.
Yeah. Even I worked it out, and that's
yeah, it was quite obvious, but and interesting. This kind of does kind of give the question though: does Conchu then know that there is a third personality and then not told Mark or Steven? Because obviously he knows about. He can speak to both of them. That would indicate that you'd be able to speak to this third personality, but obviously he hasn't told Mark or Steven that there is this third personality.
It would be a very Conchu thing to do. The way they've sort of I guess designed like Conchu's character is that he's like this very morally ambiguous, but like God.
Yeah.
That it's like well obviously he means well, but will do anything he needs to do to get what he wants. So if that means not telling him about a third personality, that would be very much up his street. So yeah.
Well, should we talk about obviously the big thing is obviously it was kind of teased that there was more avatars out there when we spoke and when they spoke about Armit's first avatar betraying her. Well, we saw a bit of the Ennead that was obviously teased in the first episode with Stephen. We saw Horus, Isis, Tefnut, Osiris, and Hathor. Obviously, that's not all of the Ennead. Some are missing. Do you think that maybe it's just because they were busy at the time? Or could it have been that something has happened that meant those gods obviously couldn't be there? Because obviously there were empty seats.
Could be anything. It could be anything. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure there'll be. I mean, maybe there isn't a reason or a plan to them not being there, but you would think that there is. Like, there'll be like some sort of explanation or something like that, or maybe like you say, it might just be nothing. It might just they were busy. Like, we just don't know. But yeah, nice. Obviously, you got the. I mean, they said something about that. Some of them was it something about some gods been like obviously at the end he was turned to stone. Maybe that's happened to some of them or something like that, and that's got like they'll talk about that or something. I don't know, but yeah.
What do you think, Fab?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure they've got plans for those other characters, and I guess we'll just have to like look forward to seeing what they do with them at the end. I'm sure they'll come in at some point during the series, but yeah. To be fair, the only thing I'd say was like when they had that meeting in the pyramid. I didn't like the way they got rid of all the avatar like human personalities, if that makes sense. It just kind of they all arrived in there, the gods took over, and that was it. There was I would have preferred like getting to know the other avatars and understanding. Like you could tell a little bit the guy in the suit, I think, was
Osiris. Yeah, Osiris is
yeah. He was probably going to be the one in charge and stuff like that. But we didn't actually interact with his character. We just interacted with his god.
Yeah, I think in future episodes they will definitely delve into that. Obviously, when we saw Osiris's avatar with Arthur Harrow at the end, possibly working together is an interesting aspect there. And obviously, we saw what's the god's name again? Is it Hathor? Was the woman's god?
Nice
I think. Obviously, she seemed to be much more kind-hearted towards Mark in terms of helping him, and obviously did end up helping him. So maybe we'll see more of them in the future. I'm sure we will. The Ennead in Marvel Comics is a thing and does obviously involve Moon Knight a lot because obviously Khonshu is an Egyptian god. Arthur Harrow could be working with Osiris. Well, Osiris's avatar. Do you think he is from what we've seen, or do you genuinely think that he's actually manipulating a god, which would be quite impressive?
Could be anything again. Could be anything. We don't have the answers.
That's the whole point of this podcast, though, Ben. We're supposed to try and think of the answers.
Yeah. No, I mean, what I would say though is sort of. I thought in that interrogation scene that he was able to manipulate them quite a bit too easily, maybe. Like it was just kind of like he's just lied out his teeth and that was it. And like when they asked Mark for his explanation, he could have just said, right, this is what happened, this is what happened, this, and this, and then they could base a decision off the two sort of points of view. But he kind of just went, nah, this guy's a bad guy.
Well, they kind of dismissed everything that Mark said before he could even really say anything as well.
Yeah. I thought it was like obviously he couldn't have like explained it and then go, all right, yeah, you're right, and then stopped him, and then that's the end of the show, isn't it? But like, because there'd be no show if that had happened. But I thought it was a little bit easy. Like he was just like, yeah, this guy is crazy, and Khonshu's a wacky god. Done. Like, right.
Yeah. That does make you think that maybe Arthur is working with these guys because he almost seemed to instantly know as well what was happening.
That is true. That would suggest that he's working with them because he would just be like, "You say whatever you want," and I'll just go, "Yeah." That'd be basically. So yeah, that's a good point. To be fair, probably right. But yeah, nice. Yeah, no, it's interesting that I guess that God must have a reason for it or a stake in it or something that he wants him to succeed, but we'll find out.
Yeah, because obviously the woman didn't seem to completely agree with Osiris's decision, so obviously it wasn't quite unanimous. Obviously, Osiris is kind of king of the gods, but not. Obviously, Ra is at the top, who's the sun god. I think my Egyptian god knowledge isn't particularly great. I'm not going to lie. But well, yeah, and it's like the fact that when Arthur walked in, he knew exactly what was happening, and Conor mentioned the fact that obviously the last time he spoke to the gods was when he got banished. So there's no way that Arthur would have known that place through Khonshu and Ahmet because Ahmet's buried somewhere. So yeah, it does make you definitely question whether what Osiris's or Osiris's avatar's plans are. Obviously, I'm sure it'd be quite hard to hide your plans from your god, I assume, as an avatar, considering
you think it's the god.
Yeah, so I think it'd be quite difficult for the avatar to be cheating Osiris at all. But it does pose a very interesting moral question. Obviously, is the fact that these gods could help. It's kind of the same with the Eternals. These gods could have helped during Thanos, etc., but chose not to. So, obviously that does pose the moral question a lot. I think we covered everything today. Is there anything else that you guys want to chat about with Moon Knight?
Yeah, I mean, on the god, like you're saying, they chose not to. It was more. I mean, obviously, they did choose not to, but it was sort of because obviously they moved on from like worshipping those gods. It was also sort of half through pettiness that like, well, they're not worshipping us anymore, so we're not going to help. That sort of thing. But yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it'd be interesting.
Yeah, I think the only thing I'd say is like from watching the first 2 episodes, I have to admit I did kind of prefer Steven's point of view, like just as a general kind of way the show works. I thought there's a lot more cooler things they could have done with Steven's point of view. Like, he's not the most like, I don't know, bold character, but the way his character works, where he gets in a terrible situation, blacks out, and then is in a completely different situation, was quite funny. Whereas with Mark this episode, it was, I don't know, he switched to Steven, and then he just like has like pulls in his gut or something like that.
Yeah, I did find that quite funny when Steven took over, turned into Mr. Knight, gets impaled loads, and goes, "Oh, give it back to Mark."
Yeah. No, I was gonna. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, I think I preferred the Steven point of view. That was pretty much it. But I don't have anything against the Mark character, but well, they're the same character. But I just thought it was a bit cooler from Steven. I think I enjoyed the show more from his point of view. But
yeah. It reminded me. I was going to say that you are all almost willing, sort of, Steven to take over, like when he's talking to his wife, because it's quite clear that his wife relates to Steven a lot more than she does Mark. So you're always like, come on, like just change to Steven. It's fine. Just do it. It's fine. It's fine. But yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess the last thing we have to touch on, obviously, is the fact that Khonshu has been turned to stone. He's clearly quite powerful as well when he seemed to shift the sky 2,000 years back, which isn't exactly, just quite impressive, I won't lie. Obviously, they did the typical Marvel thing. We've just got this technology which allows us to pinpoint exactly where we want to be at that very moment in time, even though it is crazy the fact that the sky has now moved 2,000 years backwards. But, it is what it is. Obviously, Khonshu will obviously get released at some point. We know that. We know people. And obviously, for Moon Knight to continue, that needs to happen. And realistically, even Mark being Mark, I highly doubt he'll be able to defeat a Jackal as a human. So, we've got lots to look forward to, hopefully, in the next 3 episodes. And I hope you guys enjoyed this analysis. Obviously, Tom wasn't here today. He's ill, unfortunately. But, we'll have the next 3 every Wednesday, as per usual. Try and get them out as early as we can for you guys. And, we hope you enjoyed. If you did, like the video. If you're new around here, subscribe as well. That would be greatly appreciated.